Hey there, and welcome back from spring break. What I want to do today in this video lecture is just briefly go over memory and touch on some of the concepts that you're going to be seeing as you go over Chapter 8 this week. And anytime I talk about memory, what I like to bring up first is kind of this little analogy that hopefully can help you kind of conceptualize what memory is and kind of how it functions and how it works. And so the analogy that gets used a lot of times is this analogy of a filing cabinet and thinking of your brain as kind of a filing cabinet that has a bunch of documents in it and a bunch of manila folders to kind of organize those documents. So you can think of each individual document as kind of an individual memory that's being encoded. And then you can think of the folders as the storage place for those memories. And so we know that generally the way that your brain organizes things is that it takes memories that are kind of related or knowledge that is related, and it stores it in the same area. So think of it as having a folder just for all of your knowledge of psychology, and you have another folder for all of your knowledge in biology, and another folder for all of your knowledge of animals. And so, and this similar to like memories as well. So if you remember what you had for dinner last night, and let's say that was pizza, right? You're gonna have a folder that has a bunch of memories related to pizza. Maybe that'll be the memory of you eating pizza last night, but it might also have a stored memory for I don't know, the last time you had a pizza party, maybe in middle school or whatever. If you can still remember that, that might be in that same area or location. So your brain likes to organize things that are similar in similar places, and so you can think of these documents as being these memories, and then your brain kind of figures out, all right, where do I have similar memories, or where do I have similar knowledge, and it would pull out that folder, and then it would put those documents in there and kind of organize it that way. Now, in reality, there is no filing cabinet, there are no documents, and there are no folders, right? So there's just neurons. And to kind of help you think about this in the sense of it just being neurons, think of a sporting event and think of a stadium where you've got thousands of fans and they're doing the wave. Um, the wave only works in the stadium if all the fans are working together and they're doing their thing in a specific order. And it's a very similar way for memory. A memory can only happen if and when you have many connected neurons that are firing kind of in a specific pattern, similar to that pattern of the fans doing the wave. Because the same cells are similar, like to those individual fans, they can fire in many unique patterns. What neurons can do is they can encode multiple memories. So remember those folders, right? You have individual folders that hold similar memories. Well, it's not really folders, it's neurons. But because neurons, and you remember back to chapter 3, we talked about neurotransmitters and all of that, because neurons can fire in all of these unique patterns and all of these unique ways, they can be responsible for multiple memories. And so this really increases the memory storage capacity that we have in our brain. Now, to complicate this even further, memories can either be short term, meaning we can only remember them for a few minutes, maybe a few seconds, or they are long term, which lets us kind of store and retrieve memories over our entire lifetime. In psychology, though, we also break long term memory down into two more separate categories. These can be declarative or explicit memories, and then we've also got non-declarative or implicit memories. Declarative memories is kind of how we remember facts and events. So you can see that there's another division of episodic and semantic. So semantic memory is really that memory that deals with fact. We just know factual knowledge, right? Like uh, when you're answering test questions, for example. Those are facts that all the different facts, all the different things that you know about, psychology or biology or math or whatever. It's just fact. All right. Episodic memory deals with events. All right. So episodic memory deals with events that of memories of basically of events. What'd you do over spring break? Where did you go on your last vacation? Um, what'd you do on your last birthday? Right? Like these are all events, biographical kind of events and memories, and that gets stored in episodic memories. Now, non-declarative memories are kind of responsible for emotional conditioning, and then what we call muscle memory or procedural memory. So procedural memory you can just think of as muscle memory, things like skills and actions. If you know how to type on a keyboard without looking at the keys, that would be a muscle memory or a procedural memory. Riding a bicycle, it's a procedural memory. That all kind of gets stored there. Emotional conditioning is really how we react to certain things. So there's oftentimes there's situations where we react to situations and we might not even be aware, or we might not even know why we reacted in that way. That's what emotional conditioning is about. If you think back to the whole little Albert experiment, right, where they took this little baby, a 6 or 8 month old baby, and they conditioned him to fear rats and little bunnies and right all these little furry animals. Now, when little Albert grows up, an example of emotional conditioning would be, because he was so young when this experiment happened, he probably has no memory of it. And if nobody tells him about that experiment, he won't know that it ever happened. And so let's say he grows up, and now all of a sudden, anytime he sees a little white furry animal, he starts freaking out. Right? He wouldn't know why, but that would be his reaction, his emotional reaction to little animals, that he is afraid of them, but he wouldn't necessarily consciously know why he's afraid of them. So that's emotional conditioning. Now, these differences, they're not only categorical, but these differences are also biological. So if we take a look at our 3D brain and we flip it over to the limbic system side, we can start looking at some of the areas of the brain that are responsible for the different types of memories. So for example, declarative memories seem to be tied into the hippocampus, which is right here, number 5. It's this blue structure. It's kind of blue structure that wraps around. If you see it in here, it kind of wraps all the way around through there. Hippocampus, I want to say, is either Greek or Latin. Um, one of those, and it means seahorse because apparently it has the shape of the seahorse. I don't see it, but I mean I guess the outline of it a little bit, but it doesn't look like a seahorse to me at all. But this is the area that deals with declarative memories. And so we kind of know this because in cases where people have either damaged their hippocampus or the hippocampus was removed surgically, um, these people have a really hard time remembering new facts or events. So if you think of a movie like 50 First Dates, where Drew Barrymore's character, I think she gets in a car accident and then she has a really hard time remembering. She can remember everything basically up to that point, but after the accident, she has a really hard time remembering new facts and just remembering new events. And that's probably because she did some damage to her hippocampus. So the hippocampus, very important for declarative memories. Um, Conditioned emotional memories, those require the amygdala, which is right here, number 1. And so again, the amygdala is another one of those classical languages. It means almond. It's because it's the shape of an almond. It's also the size of an almond. And so this deals with your conditioned emotional memories. And again, that also makes sense. If you remember, the amygdala plays a really important role in emotions, especially emotions like fear. So it would make sense that this is the part of the brain that would be responsible for those uh, conditioned emotional memories. Now, motor or muscle memories come from the cerebellum, which is back here, number 2, is the back part of the brain. The cerebellum's function also deals with executing um, motor behaviors. So this is what keeps you in balance. And so if you make the decision that you're gonna walk to the refrigerator, all you really have to do is think about walking there, and you're going to be able to do that because the cerebellum executes all of those movements. It keeps you in balance, and you don't have to worry about the right foot, left foot, and all of that. So it makes sense that this is also the area of the brain where your muscle memories kind of and motor memories come from. And so what's really cool about the separation of these different parts of the brain and their function and memory is that you can damage one of these areas and not lose all the functioning of memory. So if we go back to Drew Barrymore's character in 50 First Dates, yeah, she might have damaged her hippocampus and she couldn't remember any new events or remember any new facts, but she could probably still ride a bicycle, right? And if she knew how to type on a keyboard, she'd probably still be able to do that because those are muscle memory things, and those are not. And that part of the brain is completely separate from the hippocampus. All right, so I hope this video kind of helps give you a little bit more context to some of the stuff that you're reading or going to be reading in Chapter 8. This week's your midterm exam, so good luck everybody on that, and then hope to see you all next week in another video. Thank you for watching.